clothes are more than just a materialistic object. To me, anyway, it's, you know, I'll look at something and I can tell you a night out or an interview or a holiday or something that's just further than it being, you know, just a silk dress. It's like, I fell in love wearing that dress, you know, and how magic is that it's just more than just something on a hanger. It's got a story, and then you can pass it on and maybe someone else will fall in love in that dress, and that's also beautiful as well.
We're in Angel, North London to meet artist Tia O'Donnell, who is also an activist and sustainable fashion enthusiast. Tia has made a name for herself in London through her expressive, imaginative and unique work. More recently, Tia made headline news for protesting at her graduation. She asked for a refund from her university after paying the full fees, whilst not having the access to the facilities she needed to complete her course at Central St Martin's during the pandemic. We want to find out more about Tia and how she sees the next generation of artists and designers shaping the future of fashion, culture and society in London.
Lovely to be in your home and in your amazing room.
Thank you very much. It is a bit of an insight into my mad brain. Exactly.
And you just graduated uni. What are you doing now?
Now that I've graduated, I'm just doing small little jobs like commissions for album covers or tour posters, and just really like focusing on myself. And I felt like whilst I was at university, I didn't really have the chance to dedicate my full time to, you know, my personal practice. So now that like this is my moment to really like head on jobs and personal projects that I really care about.
As an artist, you're moving more into the fashion world. Was that more of an interest?
I've been really obsessed with having really good quality pieces for, you know, a long amount of time rather than just buying knickknacks and, you know, fast fashion essentially. From a really young age, like probably 15, I started doing that, having an eBay account and really getting into it, being obsessed with Vivienne Westwood and always wanting to get specific pieces. I used to look through all of her old like fashion campaign books and be like, oh, I'm going to get that. Wearing what I wear is like, I'm a walking canvas, which is a reflection of like what my career is and where I want to be. And I think art and fashion are like brother and sister. They just go hand in hand together. And we're in to me, it feels like we're in a period of time where fashion is sort of just repeating itself, and art is a way where you can, you know, recycle it, but make it different. And yeah, I think that's kind of like the future of like what fashion is. It's art and fashion together.
I won't pretend to know anything about art, but I do know that different styles have different names. So what would you describe your style of art, and how does that translate into the fashion that you wear?
Sure. I would describe my work as like abstract activist. Yeah, I guess that's two words that would kind of represent it well. And in terms of fashion, I feel like I'm really inspired by the way that Vivienne Westwood, you know, uses her clothes as a way of spreading important messages and starting conversations. And I think that's kind of what I do in my practice. And, you know, with my clothes as well, I sort of like to wear things that will make people question or be like, oh, what does she mean? I used to do a lot of just buying big bulk of really plain and simple clothing and then using my airbrush gun and spraying onto it, just because I felt that I really needed to be my own identity. And that's how I found myself. And I didn't want to just like not be noticed. And I think because that all really stems from, you know, like being bullied at school and like not really having an identity or being too afraid to have an identity, and also like wearing a school uniform, you know, you're really stripped of who you really are. And then the second I left school and I was like free to wear whatever I wanted, I was like, right, this is going to be me, and I'm going to make everyone know that, you know, this is who I am. This is my identity. This is my style. And it's one of one. My favorite piece is probably this jacket that I sprayed on.
What's the story?
So, gosh, she's so grubby, but I love her. She's worn a lot, as you can tell. But this is from Woolrich. I'm pretty sure I got this from a charity shop or eBay or online. It'll be one or the others. But this was when I just got my airbrush gun and I was testing out, just testing out how it went down. And I was like really happy with the results, thought it was really cool. And it just made like this really plain beige, boring jacket, like different.
Brilliant.
And yeah, she's had a lot of love. I can't part with her.
Do you do customs for friends?
Yeah, all the time. Literally my friend's birthday last year, I did one of these actually. I made her orange version of this that had a different design on it, but same jacket.
I've seen the left foot and right foot. What does that mean? Is it like a signature?
It's my method of dealing with anxiety. When I walk past like a group of people, anxiety will just take over, and left foot, right foot is a way of sort of just re-teaching myself firstly how to walk, but also just to focus on something else other than the surroundings and like feeling anxious. It's like bringing me back down to earth and taking me away from, you know, like being overwhelmed. And I also just think it's a really nice message in life. Like, just don't be so stressed out. Like, try and just have a moment. Like, just remember, like, it's one foot after the other. It's not a race. It's not competition. It's your own pace. Like, you said it, how you want to do it, but just one in front of the other in your own time, and it will be fine.
You've been doing some great collaborations with Palladium and other like sustainable brands. What is your aim with these collaborations?
My main aim with these collaborations is to kind of push these other brands to really focus on how collaboration is the future of their companies and also the future of, you know, life. I think if we don't collaborate more, then, you know, the conglomerates are going to stay the big boys and the independents are going to stay the independents, and there will be just, you know, the gap between them will just keep going. But if we narrow that down, and not only just, you know, for the sake of giving people jobs, but also just for culture and beauty and, you know, all of these amazing things that come along with collaboration. It's just more than, you know, working with a brand and having your thing printed on it. You know, from working with jobs that I've done with a lovely company I work for, and we did a series of t-shirts, and 50% of the profits went to a chosen charity. And from doing stuff like that, it's so lovely to work with, you know, another independent, smaller company, because we get it. But then when you work with like a bigger boss, it's difficult because, you know, they have their brand image, you have your brand image. How are you going to marry it together? But you'll find a way and it will work.
You've also collaborated with some brands that wouldn't be considered so sustainable. What was the reason for doing these collaborations?
You know, when I do work with these big brands, I think for me, it's really important to incorporate an element of sustainability and have, you know, motions of it being reusable. This, as in, like, that won't be the only time that, you know, I'll make that set. I will still reuse those materials. And I think that's important because it's sort of showing the brand as well, like a way that they can, you know, collaborate with artists or whoever, but also have the element of sustainability. I think for me, that's one of the most important things of any job that I do. You know, is there a way that I can, you know, use something that I already have? Or even when I go to set design jobs, they'll be like, oh, do we need to buy this? Do we need to buy this? I'll be like, no, I will source it. I'll go in a skip if I have to. Like, I will find it and it will be free and, you know, reusable. There are some companies out there in the world that really need to not only look in the mirror, but just also look at the people who it's affecting and change. A lot of change needs to happen. But I think the finger doesn't need to be pointed at people like me who, you know, I'd love to be able to turn down these jobs. I'd love to. I'd love to be like, do you know what, sod you and like everything that you stand by. But unfortunately, living in London, it is the most expensive. You walk outside and it's like £10 to breathe.
Yeah. Okay, what's the best place to get vintage items?
Dalston, Princess, May, School, car boot sale, the best. Vintage, everything. Records, jewellery, furniture, knickknacks, jars of tea. And just hands down the most incredible quality goods. I think not only is it the best place to get garments, they're relatively cheap, you can barter, and it's an experience. It's like seeing how fashion is, well, not even just fashion, just materialistic objects are more than just what they are face value. It's like there's a car boot community, and it's nice to be part of something where, you know, like I'll sell a pair of trainers and I know that someone else is going to maybe sell them on. But it's just a never ending cycle. And sometimes I'll buy clothes off eBay or whatever, wear them once and then be like, actually, I don't think I'll wear that again. And then sell it at the car boot. And then someone else will buy that. And then that's their, you know, it's a never ending journey. I think because eBay is so difficult to navigate, if you don't know the ways, just make life easier for yourself and have saved searches, because then you'll get a little like notification being like, oh, we found these trainers that you wanted in a size 6 thing and under £30, because you can like measure how much you want to spend on the save search. So you're never like disappointed. Do you know what I mean? You know, if you see, you know, one of the Nepo babies wearing it, then it's going to go up in price. And people are going to capitalize on that massively. Yeah, fair. And to be honest, I'm semi-guilty about that too. Like at the car boot, it's, you know, if I'm selling something by, I don't know, Custo Barcelona, then, you know, I know that Bella Hadid's worn it. So I'm going to, And also it's, you know, supply and demand. Yeah, like exactly. It's just how it works. But some of it is a bit unreasonable. Like some of it's just like, you know, you're not going to sell that flimsy t-shirt for 500 quid. Like, be real with yourself.
What's next for the fashion journey?
I mean, I think my fashion journey will always be secondhand and will always be from either eBay, vintage, charity shops, car boot sales. And that's just something that I love doing. Because, you know, like clothes are more than just a materialistic object, to me anyway. It's, you know, I'll look at something and I can tell you a night out or an interview or a holiday or something that's just further than it being, you know, just a silk dress. It's like I fell in love wearing that dress, you know, and it's, and like how magic is that it's just more than just something on a hanger. It's got a story. And then you can pass it on and maybe someone else will fall in love with that dress. And that's also beautiful as well.